this. It is basically a good faith deposit to show the seller you're serious. It's usually 1 to 3% of the purchase price. In my case, it was 2%, so that was $8,000 I had to wire almost immediately. Now, this money does go towards your down payment or closing costs, so you're not losing it, but you need to have it ready in liquid cash right at the beginning. That was a bit of a scramble. Next up, the home inspection. This is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to know what you're buying. A general inspection cost me about $500. The inspector went through the entire house, checking the roof, foundation, plumbing, electrical systems, everything. And thank goodness he did. He found some minor issues with the electrical panel and a small leak under the kitchen sink. But then he recommended specialized inspections. He said the area was known for termites, so I needed a pest inspection. That was another $150. He also flagged the age of the HVAC system and suggested a separate HVAC inspection, which cost an additional $200. So, just to make sure the house wasn't falling apart, I was already out almost $1,000 before I even got close to owning it. This is money you spend whether you end up buying the house or not. If the inspection reveals huge problems and you walk away, that money is gone. After the inspections, we moved into the mortgage and closing process. This is where the term closing costs becomes your new nightmare. People say to budget 2 to 5% of the home's purchase price for closing costs. For my $400,000 house, that's a range of $8,000 to $20,000, a huge range. I ended up paying around $12,000, and I want to break down exactly what that was for. First, there are the loan-related fees. The bank doesn't just give you money for free. I had a loan origination fee, which is what the lender charges for processing the loan application. That was about 1% of the loan amount, so around $3,200. Then there was the appraisal fee. The bank needs to make sure the house is actually worth what you're paying for it. That appraisal cost me $600. The appraiser comes out, measures the property, compares it to similar homes that recently sold in the area, and gives the bank a value. If the appraisal comes in low, you might have to renegotiate with the seller or come up with more cash yourself. Luckily, mine came in at value. Then came the flood of other little fees. There was a credit report fee for about $50. There were underwriting fees, processing fees, and document preparation fees. Each one was a few $100s here and there, but they added up fast. It felt like I was being charged for every piece of paper someone touched. Next, we have the title and insurance fees. This part is super important. You have to get title insurance. There are two kinds: lender's title insurance, which protects the bank, and owner's title insurance, which protects you. The lender's policy is mandatory. It cost me about $800. The owner's policy was optional, but my real estate agent and lawyer strongly advised it. It protects you from any future claims on the property, from previous owners, unpaid taxes, or liens you didn't know about. That was another $1,200. It's a one-time fee and it protects you for as long as you own the house, so I decided it was worth the peace of mind. On top of that, there was a title search fee of around $300 to have a company search public records for any issues with the property's title. And we're not done yet. You also have to prepay some expenses. The big one is homeowner's insurance. You have to pay for the first full year of your insurance policy at closing. For me, that was about $1,500. The cost can vary wildly, depending on your location, the age of the home, and your coverage. Another prepaid item is property taxes. Depending on when you close, you might have to pay several months of property taxes up front. The lender puts this money into an escrow account, and then they pay your taxes and insurance for you when they're due. I had to prepay about 6 months of property taxes, which came out to roughly $3,000. So, even though it's my money for my future bills, I had to have it ready in cash at closing. Let's add this all up. We have the $80,000 down payment. Then the nearly $1,000 in inspection fees, then the $12,000 in closing costs, and then the $4,500 in prepaid insurance and taxes. So, to buy my $400,000 house, I needed to bring around $97,500 in cash to the table. That's nearly $20,000 more than just the down payment I had initially planned for. That was a huge shock, and I had to scramble to move some investments around to cover it. But the costs don't stop once you get the keys. Oh no, that's just the beginning of a whole new set of expenses. Well, 2 months after I moved in the middle of a heat wave, the air conditioning died. Just stopped working. An emergency repair call and a new capacitor later, I was out another $600. The technician warned me the whole system was on its last legs and a full replacement would be around $10,000. So that's a fun expense I'm now saving up for. Beyond repairs, there's just the cost of stuff. My old apartment furniture looked tiny and out of place in this bigger space. I needed a new sofa, a dining table, a lawnmower, a rake, a hose, the list goes on and on. I've probably spent an extra $5,000 just on furnishing and equipping the house to be livable in these first few months. And then there are the monthly bills. My mortgage payment is one thing, but utilities are much higher in a house than in my old apartment. My electricity and water bills basically doubled. Plus, now I have to pay for trash collection and high-speed internet, which were included in my old rent. So, what's the lesson here? 2. The biggest mistake I made was underestimating the sheer amount of cash I would need. Not just for the closing, but for the immediate aftermath. My advice to anyone buying a house is this. First, get pre-approved for a mortgage before you even start looking at houses. This will give you a realistic budget. Second, when you have that budget, assume you will need an extra 5% of the purchase price, on top of your down payment, just for closing costs and prepaid expenses. Tap this in a separate liquid savings account. Third, and this is crucial, have another emergency fund specifically for the house. I'd recommend having at least $10,000 set aside for those immediate, unexpected repairs and moving costs that will inevitably pop up. Buying this house has been an incredible experience, and I don't regret it for a second. I love having my own space, a yard, and the freedom to make it my own. But it's a massive financial commitment, far beyond the monthly mortgage payment. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And if you've bought a house, share your own hidden cost stories in the comments below. Let's help each other out. See you in the next video.